Well, how's it going, everybody? It is Kane the Diesel Freak, most hated OSU fan on the planet. Welcome back to a long two edition of Sunday Show. As it's really not much of a surprise, but um, I'm gonna be completely honest with you folks. I've had a hard time this week trying to figure out some things and then just dealing with delusional fan bases. But do me a favor if you make sure delusional fan bases are put back into reality. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and be sure to check out the channel because you don't want to miss out on when I post the next video. Follow link the link to join the stream is in the description to talk. I'm pretty open about whoever comes in. Um, I did have to deal with a couple delusional fan bases on the side. Um, So yeah, as a Buckeye fan, I really just hate the news of just delusional fans yipping and yapping on the internet, especially on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Caden the Diesel Freak. You'll to see top exclusive content of calling out other fan bases, including other channels like Jackson Johnson of the Alabama Crimson Tide channel for their delusional fan base. And delusional, arrogant, you can tell me the rest. Uh, But like I said, this is a chat. This is the time for you guys to come on in, join the show, chit chat with me, and hang out with me. I am an exclusive member of the College Football Mafia, so make sure you subscribe to the College Football Mafia. If you are not, Dan Owen, um, Professor Ute, Nathan Brown Bomber is a great friend of the channel and a very highly respected friend of the channel. So be sure to check them all out. Also, if you do me a favor, follow me here for more content because you don't want to miss out on what I post. You know what, folks? I'm going to be completely honest. This is not a Michigan channel. This is not an Alabama channel. This is just an Ohio State fan saying his opinions on here. And I'm also talking with other fans, but also that you don't want to share their opinion. But there are those who on YouTube they have a lot more delusional fans. On the other hand, um, speaking of the College Football Mafia, Daniel Gygax of the College Football Mafia says, "Hi, give me 5 minutes." That's fine, Dan. Take your time, buddy. This is a college show for all y'all to join and say what's up and say what's on your mind. That's why I hold the Sunday show. And then Mullen After Dark, be sure to check out Mullen After Dark. Mullen teachers does Mullen After Dark with a friend of mine, Rock and Rant, a great friend on YouTube, and also somebody that a University of Miami fan. So be sure to subscribe to the channel because you don't miss out when I do. I do post. So, and I had a bit of a conversation with Jackson Johnson this past Thursday. Talk about how I'm talking about their schedule upcoming next year because I told them before that next year and that the 2027-2028 schedule was going to be really difficult on their hands because not only are they playing Ohio State, they got Georgia. But with my confidence in Ohio State putting their A game against Alabama and beating Alabama, I think it's pretty obvious of where I stand. Ohio State beats Alabama. Do I think double digits? Possibly. If they bring it early on defense, which I know they will. But you know what, folks? I'm going to be completely fair and honest. But you know what? That's just how things are going. But like I said, that's just my 2 cents of the matter of business. I will be returning to doing Saturday editions of the Saturday Crap Show, which this is the Sunday Crap Show, which is every Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But mostly 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Saturday show. Sunday show is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I will be pointing out that, however, there are some things I will say that just really bother me. It's not so much the fan base, it's just how many people on Twitter usually just it hurts my head and it's delusional. But that's just my 2 cents, folks. And dare I say, the proof. And dare I also say, just how much I don't know, folks. You're gonna have to let me know. Speaking of folks, I got a good friend on the line. Daniel Gygax, it's been a minute, sir.
I know.
Sorry I haven't been on. I've just been busy with the family farm and helping and with other things, but I'm going to be returning to doing the Saturday and Sunday shows. So
we all get busy, I understand.
So if you guys don't know, Dale's a good friend of the channel, but he's also a member of the College Football Mafia. Dan, do you want to tell everybody on YouTube and the YouTube land where to find the College Football Mafia and yourself?
Search for CFB Mafia, and you will find me. You will find a whole sort of videos on there. We have been crunching numbers lately on the business of athletics. Please subscribe. Our goal is to get the 6,000. We're at, I think it's like 5,500 right now. I'm going to have to look.
But yeah, folks, if you would, please do me a favor, subscribe to the College Football Mafia, because these guys are awesome. Dan's awesome. Nate,
we're 500 away.
Well, I was gonna say also to make sure you guys follow them all on social media. They post a lot of great stuff on social media regarding college football and the Department of Athletics of the business, which I do like. They do post a lot of great stuff, and Dan does his College Football Mafia shorts, which I will say, this guy spits the facts. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss out. Become a member of the College Football Mafia.
Yeah, my last one was it wouldn't let me post my handle for Twitter. Thanks, Google. Let you know, Google is right next to a place called the Shoreline Amphitheater.
Oh my God.
And if you dig into their numbers, they make a couple $1,000,000 a year by selling parking at the Googleplex for people to walk over the Shoreline.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, Shoreline's a great place. I love going to Shoreline. It is fantastic. Good. But you have to, okay, to pay, it's like a lot of other places. You have premium parking, regular parking. Then if you want to park at the Googleplex and walk, it's far end of Googleplex. It's like 3/4 of a mile, and that's cheap.
Yeah. But here's my other thing, Dan. But the other thing I wanted to mention is something I was mentioning to someone else in particular this past weekend. I've been looking at Ohio State's schedule for the last for the next couple of years, and then also I just broke some breaking news to Nathan about this. I got it from a good source of mine regarding Ohio's the Big Ten in specific. Shocking news. In late 2029, Duke will be joining the Big Ten along with the University of Virginia. I heard that from a Big Ten source, and it was literally brought to my attention. You're muted.
I'm not buying it. 2 reasons. Number one, not counting this past year, when was the last time that football was relevant in Charlottesville, Virginia? Not counting this past year, when was the last time Duke football was relevant? And a lot of these decisions are football based. Yes, UVA is great academics. Duke has great academics, but Duke has the same issue Stanford did. Stanford was about that close to a yes, and then they had their attorneys to go through and look through the contract. And they saw in there that they had to give up being a part of the Ivy League's library system and turn over basically all this IP that they have to the Big Ten Academic Alliance. Stanford is very, very tight-lipped on everything. They make a ton of money off patents. They make a ton of money off of different things that they have. They have something called SLAC, which is the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center. Yes, it is a Department of Energy facility, but guess who controls the keys to get in? That would still be Stanford University.
Right.
And with Stanford being a part of the Ivy League system, they get access to Caltech. They get access to MIT. They get access to all the brains that you have at Harvard. And Cal Berkeley, through Lawrence Labs, which they've got one up on the hill above the campus. They call that Berkeley Labs, and then they have Lawrence Livermore. They run both. 16 chemical elements have came out of Lawrence Labs. They're pretty tight on IP too. But the thing is, the way the University of California system works is they have to share notes to the other campuses. So let's say somebody from the physics department down at, let's just say where my daughter went to school at, down at Santa Barbara, wants to come up and visit Lawrence Labs. They have full access to everything. where my other daughter goes to school up at Davis. Guess what? They get full access to everything because they're part of the University of California system. And people from like a Caltech, a MIT, whoever else, Princeton's got a huge physics department. And that's what they look at. They look at themselves as academic institutions first that play athletics.
Right. But also, and I want to get to something else here. If you want, I have the schedule hold up for 2026 and 2027.
Okay.
As far as let's go 2026, just so everybody
That's
knows.
7. Okay, there's 6. Okay.
Now for this year, I feel like we could go 11-1.
I bet you the Buckeyes win that spring game.
Oh yeah. But I be honest, as far as like the regular season, I feel like we're in good hands. And I feel like Arthur Smith will do some phenomenal stuff with Coach Day and Coach Patricia. The Ball State, Texas Longhorn, Kent State, Illinois, and Iowa game, along with Maryland, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 easy wins on the board.
I wouldn't say Texas is back, but I will say Texas is better.
Well, I mean, I'm going to disagree with you on that, Daniel, because last year we could easily beat them by more double digits. Easily.
Like I said, I wouldn't say Texas is back, but I will say Texas is better. And the reason why I'm saying that is that they are I'm not fully bought into Arch Manning being the be all,
the chosen sort of quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. I don't see him as great.
But still, he's got things to work on, and he's got to get that passing situation. He's got to get more protected. Because if he doesn't get protected, he's going to get thrown out more, and then that's what's going to happen again. Like last year, he's going to throw a couple picks. And here's the other thing, too. That game last year against Texas, we could have beat him easily 42-7. Easily. But Coach Day wanted to save his best players for when we really had to put it out. Because, I mean, winning it, say, we won that game last year 56-7.
Yeah.
Say that scenario.
This is your stat of the day. The West Virginia Mountaineers have a winning record 4-3 in Austin, Texas. They're 6-6 overall against the Longhorns. One game played before they joined the Big 12, and then the other 11 were in Big 12 play.
Right. But here's my thing, Dan. Say last year Ohio State beats Texas 56-7 in an upsetting blowout. Okay, that could have easily then happened there like that with that defense and offense. But you know what? I feel like Ohio State will bring again this year, and Arch Manning's not ready for this defense again. Because the one thing he struggled, two things, getting sacked and throwing interceptions.
Like I said, last year was his first year. I just think of Archie Manning's grandson as a good, not great quarterback. He's got to prove to everybody all the hype that he had coming to Austin, Texas was worth it. I think he is. If you were to now remember that whenever he was being recruited, that if you took away the name Manning from his recruiting stats and inserted a different name, instead of a 5-star, he would have been a 3. Like I said, good, not great.
But also,
Ball State, Kent State, you should beat them. Illinois, you should beat them. Illinois looks.
We beat them last year by double digits, so I don't see them.
Having
trouble. Iowa, obviously, we've won majority of those games against Iowa, and then Maryland is obviously at home.
Maryland is starting to get. I wouldn't say that they're a dumpster fire, but people are starting to light up candles to go into the dumpster. They weren't great in the ACC. WVU used to play Maryland all the time because it was just a 2.5, 3 hour bus ride from Morgantown to where Maryland's campus is outside of DC. I used to play that game. I think I pulled it up one time. It was like 46 different times. So used to beat them up quite a bit. Indiana is interesting because Indiana lost a lot of players off that national championship team.
They did.
They'll take a step back because I don't see them going undefeated. I still think that they're going to be good. Decent. I don't think they're going to be great.
That's the thing I was going to say, Dan, is that Indiana losing a lot of their star talent is going to have them to force them to step back and maybe take a loss or two. Because Coach Cignetti is not rebuilding a national championship team right now. He's got a lot more to worry about with the freshmen that are coming in. USC, that's an easy win. We have a better track record against them. At USC, I mean, that's a no-brainer win, blowout. Yeah. Oregon, I mean, what we did to them, and Dylan Raiola has not played Ohio State in 2 years.
Oregon is the school that has done less with more that doesn't have the name A&M in the title. A&M historically has done less with more because they've always been able. I mean, heck, the old Southwest Conference was about as corrupt as in conference going. If you ever watched the 30 for 30 on Pony Excess, Eric Dickerson, before he went to SMU, Eric Dickerson was given a car and somebody said $30,000 in cash to go to A&M. He went to SMU. He went to SMU, which means that SMU upped the bid quite a bit for him to go to Dallas instead of College Station. And Oregon is the same way. Oregon is a big payroll team that has never gotten over the hump.
No, because here's the other thing. Oregon is one of the largest Nike endorsed schools.
How far is the now? You got to remember, Bill Bowerman Bill Bowerman was the coach that created the Nike shoe. Bill Knight was the one that marketed it. Both of them. Well, Bill Bowerman was the track coach. Phil Knight was the student that was on that track team. So their ties to Oregon run very deep.
And that's why they have their large excessive deal with Nike.
Yes.
Which has helped their branding.
Yeah. And this has only been probably about the past 30 years that Oregon really became Oregon. Before that, it was you have to go back to Dan Fouts in the I think 70s. It was late 70s. I was trying to remember a year. I was thinking 77, 78. They did a pretty good run then. But Oregon's facilities make NFL facilities look Sorry. I mean,
Small.
they've got some stuff there. Northwestern,
And that's at home. We're going to beat them.
I don't think it matters.
No.
Northwestern's not that good. Nebraska, you almost feel sorry for the people there in Nebraska, because
I don't feel sorry for Nebraska.
I know you don't, but if you go back, that Nebraska team was absolutely legit great.
Yeah, back in the 90s, they need to wake up and realize this is reality. This isn't the 90s rerun of Nebraska.
They haven't been good since they fired Bo Pelini, and that was about 25 years ago, give or take. They're just, they've lost their way. And I want to see what Witt is going to do at Michigan.
And then Kyle Whittingham at Michigan, but this time it's going to be his first time back to the Horseshoe for Kyle Whittingham.
Here's the thing with Witt,
which I'm going to say
Kyle Whittingham. Here's the thing with Kyle Whittingham. If you look at his resume, he was a West Coast guy. How well can he recruit and get talent into Ann Arbor?
The Midwest.
Yeah, in the Midwest.
But he's also got to deal with the former team and the former head coach's team that he lost to, Urban Meyer, Ohio State. There's some history there.
Not as much as you think. Let me see. Texas is a coin. I'm looking at this. Texas is a coin flip. Oregon might be a coin flip, but the game's in Columbus, so I really wouldn't say anything. Michigan, here's the thing. Even whenever Michigan is not good, it seems like that they go into the Horseshoe and make the Buckeyes look silly.
Okay, now you're trying to bring that back up, Daniel Good.
Oh, I bring it up to Moen all the time.
And we just beat them last year in their own house. With a definition of you effed around and you found out. That's what we basically said. You effed around and you found out how bad it was going to be.
But you get the idea that whenever we're talking about
anyways, Dan,
I got a friend of mine that's from Zanesville, Ohio, and this was kind of funny. I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was either 94 or 95, one of the two. That if Ohio State would have beat Michigan that year, they would have played for the national championship game, or it might have been both years in a row. It was whenever John Cooper was there. John Cooper was there, and John Cooper's record, I know Moen can rattle it off. I want to say it was like 2-11-1, something like that, versus Michigan. That's how he got fired.
Yep.
So let's see that 27 schedule.
So we've got Bowling Green at home. That's a win.
Yeah.
Blowout.
Yeah.
New Hampshire. I don't even know what conference New Hampshire is. What, Ivy League or what?
No. I want to say that they are. I want to say they're Patriot Division, Patriot League. Hold on, I'm now going to have to look.
Well, bottom line, that's a blowout game. I think it's like 2 home games, double digits. Literally. I'm going to just say this comment.
Oh, they're in the I'm going to have to get used to this. Coastal Athletic Association used to be called Colonial Athletic Association, but then they moved further south.
But folks, both games, I'm just going to say this, are a double-digit blowout.
Yeah.
Alabama, let me just say that. Double-digit blowout. I told Jackson.
Here's the thing. You're looking a year out on what a team is going to look like. I've had this conversation with Jackson before that I don't think DeBoer is going to take Alabama to a championship game. There was massive pressure on DeBoer to make the playoffs this year. It's like if he didn't make the playoffs year 2, you would start having
conversations on him.
Conversations on, okay, who can we bring in? I like I said, Alabama's going to be good. I don't know how good. Let's see. At Michigan, that's going to be at the end of the year, but this is in alphabetical order because that's the way that FBS schedules work.
Well, obviously the Michigan win, that's going to be a win. Minnesota.
I don't know. Minnesota's probably going to be a win. Northwestern win. Oregon at Autzen. I don't know. It just depends on how Oregon looks.
If they can hold themselves together, but if they can't hold themselves together, we're easily beating them. And let me just point this comment out. I pointed out again, a double-digit blowout.
Yeah. Michigan State,
Nebraska, Purdue.
Okay, let's go back to the Spartans real quick. The Spartans have if you want to talk about the biggest train wreck that you have on there, not listed Nebraska, it's probably what's happened there in East Lansing. They used to be really good. They used to put 8-9 win seasons left, right, and sideways, and they have just stunk. Let's see. Nebraska, that would be a W. Purdue, that would be a W. Here's the problem with USC. And USC used to be able to get all the talent that they wanted up and down the state of California. It wasn't UCLA. Cal Berkeley doesn't care. None of the other schools have a big enough say to get people in. But USC did. And I'll give you the 2 reasons why USC has had their issues so far. Number 1, the Pac-12 network. If you are invisible, nobody wants to go to your program. And the Pac-12 network was invisible even out here in the Bay Area. Number 2, they don't recruit the same way they used to. They used to hit every high school from Sacramento South. You didn't have to go far just due to the fact that you've got, I think it was like within a 250-mile drive of LA, you've got somewhere around, I think somebody said 28 million people, something like that. So you didn't have to go far. You could just sit there and, hey, we're going down to, hey, we know a guy up in Reseda. Hey, we know a guy up in Bakersfield. Hey, there's a guy out in Palm Springs, whatever. And until Lincoln Riley gets that back,
right?
Huh?
Until Lincoln Riley finds out if he can muscle up some discipline and he can muster up to get some hard, if he can be a hard somehow, he's got a dumpster fire on his hand at US.
Well, it's not only that. A lot of it is that Lincoln Riley's never recruited California before. Or if he did, it was like one-offs.
It was like the one night. It was like the once in a lifetime genetic jack.
Yeah. So you need to fill your roster with, and there, like I said, there's 28 million people within 200 miles of Los Angeles, 250, something like that. You can find talent. He doesn't, even in Oklahoma, he never really put the effort in to recruit heavy. He's a scheme guy. The former coach at WVU, Dana Holgorsen, who's now the offensive coordinator at Nebraska, he left WVU saying it's too hard to recruit at WVU. No, you just have to put effort in. He went to Houston and he was gone from Houston. And Houston is the same way that you would have in Los Angeles. You don't have to go far for talent. He just was lazy and didn't want to put the effort in.
And that's the one thing also.
Put that schedule up. There was one more game after USC, and I can't remember.
It was I believe it was Rutgers.
Oh yeah, they're garbage.
Because
how is Rutgers losing money with all that Big Ten money coming in?
I have no idea, because the coaching staff is crappy, and they don't. I don't know if they're being soft, but I consider them the trash can of the Big Ten, because they have a lot of money, yet they can't. As an old friend of mine says, Daniel Gygax, and I don't know if you know, a friend of mine who's a former college football recruit out of the state, said this: "Don't write checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash." And Rutgers clearly can't do that. They can't.
Well, they don't say anything anyway. But what I think is kind of funny is, 2001 was the first year Rod was at WVU. He went 3-8 that year, and it was not a good 3-8. The only big win he had, he beat Rutgers 80-7 in New Jersey. Just absolutely blew the doors off of them. Then the following week, WVU got their head handed to them by Syracuse. So Rutgers was never, ever that good in the Big East. For them to get picked up by the Big Ten was a head scratcher. I know they wanted all those cable subs because of the market that they were in Jersey, but they'll never be competitive. I understand why they picked up Maryland. They wanted all those cable subs in the DC market. But
right,
I don't get it.
But let me go also to the next year's schedule that I was pointing out also to Jackson Johnson about this. They also play us next year, the following year.
Yeah, but they've got a home and home. Yes.
Yeah, but the problem is this is a team that I told him also, Ohio State's a team that on defense recruits extremely well. And this is a team Caleb DeBoer has not faced. An elite team with a tough physical defense from a different conference that, in my opinion, should have been national champions. Back to that national champions. And but here's my other thing.
If you look at Alabama's schedule, having that game against Ohio State, they've got some pretty tough competition on their schedule.
But Ohio State's is a tough team.
Yes.
Tough on defense, tough on offense,
yes.
And they will bring it without question.
Is Georgia a tough team?
Correct. Yes, also they're a tough team.
So they do okay. To look at the 28 schedule now and late March of 2026, outside of Buffalo and NIU, Oh,
folks, if you don't know,
Rutgers, Maryland.
Hold on, Daniel.
Yeah.
This is I'm gonna get. This is something that's gonna make somebody laugh. Well, me
Yeah.
particularly laugh. And I used the same team who beat Notre Dame.
I know. Marshall beat Notre Dame in. Oh, I know. If I call my brother, he was at that game. He went to school at Marshall. If I call my brother up right now and ask him what year he was up there in Chicago and South Bend, I want to say it was 20. I want to say that was 2023. Now I'm going to have to
2024. That was 24. They lost. Hey, what? Actually, put him on the line. Actually, and ask him.
Hold on. That was in 2022. I had to look it up. I'm looking at it right now. My brother, Marshall alum, he went to, he lives in Atlanta. A bunch of his friends went up there. They spent the weekend in Chicago. They went to a game at 1060 West Addison. Then that Saturday, they went down to South Bend, and he's like, wow, look at all this green. It's like, wow, most of them were Irish fans, so shut up. But Marshall beat Notre Dame that year.
Yep. And then also, let me get on the rest of the schedule. Buffalo's a double-digit shutdown, and I use a double-digit shutdown. Illinois, that's we literally were just there this past year and blew them out.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bama's getting Illinois better. And we don't know what the landscape's going to look like in 28. Nobody does. I mean, we could guess. We don't know. I could guarantee you Maryland's going to still be bad. I can guarantee you that Rutgers is going to still be bad. Can you scroll down on that?
Michigan is going to be terrible.
Well, we don't know.
UCLA, that's a game that we know that both of us both know. That's a double-digit win.
Yeah.
And then
because UCLA, I wouldn't say has given up on football, but UCLA football is nowhere close to what it was even 10 years ago. Whenever, forgot the guy's name. He went to Ohio. He left UCLA to take the offensive coordinator job at Columbus, and I completely forgot his name. He was up in Oregon for a while.
Jim Knowles?
No.
Before or Jim. Are you talking about the UCLA offensive coordinator?
No, I'm talking about the guy that left as coach before, left as coach in 2022-3. I'm going to have to look it up real quick.
UCLA offensive coordinator?
No, UCLA head coach left for...
Oh, Jim Kelly.
Thank you. Chip Kelly.
He beat Oregon.
Yeah, it was Chip Kelly. I was sitting there trying to remember the guy's name, Chip Kelly, who left
UCLA to become the offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Yeah, who they have now as head coach, Bob Chit. Okay, I know who he is.
And then also, we have Matt Patricia as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I'm really shocked that he hasn't left for an NFL job.
I think he just likes Ohio State because we have a lot of guys that are just extremely talented, but we can recruit extremely well on defense, even though Brian Hartline's gone.
How much do you think Patricia was getting paid to take L's at Detroit?
Oh, a lot.
Somewhere in the $10 million range. A shitty coach in the NFL is getting paid 12 to 14. A great coach is getting paid close to 20.
Mm-hmm. But let's
Big Red there at Kansas City. Andy Reid is getting paid almost $20 million. It's like 19.6. I mean, it's up there.
Mm-hmm. So they're getting paid a lot of money to take L's. But at the same time, Matt Patricia coming to Ohio State was a better move. In my opinion.
I mean, you got to think of it this way. He can go to Ohio State. He's still in the coaching ranks. He can still sit there and say, hey, looky what I'm doing. And if an NFL team calls,
I know he ain't leaving.
If an NFL team calls for a head coaching job, I will guarantee you, let's say Jacksonville calls. Or, well, I almost said the Raiders. Nobody wants to touch that dumpster fire. Well, even then, let's say the Raiders call. You're going to get a 5 to 6 year guaranteed head coaching contract. You're going to get paid, just due to the fact that nobody wants the Raiders job, you're going to probably get paid $15 million a year. That's $60 million. You're in the state of Nevada, and Nevada doesn't have an income tax. A lot of people would think it over. I'd do it.
Right.
Patricia's getting paid what? I want to say it's 3 as the DC there in Columbus.
Yeah, it is $3 million as the defensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Yeah, it's something like that. So we're talking. He's getting paid. He's one of the higher end defensive coaches that you have out there. But you can't turn. But there's a big difference between 3 million and 15.
Yeah, but here's the other thing here.
How much do you think an NFL defensive coordinator makes? A better defensive coordinator, not
a crappy defensive coordinator.
Yeah, not a crappy defensive coordinator. How much do you think they make a year?
I'm going to say at least like what, 8 mil. Probably not even
high end defensive coordinators like a Spagnuolo there at Kansas City. Spags makes 7 and change. They're in Kansas City. On average, you're looking at about 5.
Right.
NFL can afford it.
But
NFL just squeezed money out of
their wallet.
Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah. And
squeezed an extra, what was it? $800 million a year out of Paramount.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
I brought this up on the show, and myself, Ute, and Moen, we were discussing it.
Oh shoot, we forgot the other games, Dan. I forgot. Minnesota, Rutgers, Washington, Wisconsin, Penn State, UCLA.
I don't even know who's going to be the coach at Wisconsin in 2028. I have no idea. Washington, I don't know. Washington's okay, but not great. Minnesota, I don't even know if PJ Fleck will even be there at the time. Yeah, I know you're saying double-digit blowout. You're a freaking fan.
But that's a fact. Ohio State that's the one thing Ohio State has is consistency. Yeah. Ohio State.
I brought this up with the show. We had Mo and we had Wild Youth there. And we were all discussing the amount of money that the NFL was going to get. And I'm like, I brought this up on a show way before that Disney vastly overpaid for the CFP. And the reason why, if you look at the numbers for the championship game, the CFP championship game, that is about the same number that a big Monday Night Football game gets. That would be like the Dallas Cry Girls playing New Jersey Giants whenever both of them were good, or let's say Chicago play, or let's say Chicago playing Green Bay. Those games historically would get on cable, behind the cable paywall. They would get somewhere around 15 to 18 million people. Now add up the fact that you have to be that ESPN's a subscription service. Hello, that's a lot of money that Disney Corp makes off of ESPN. So a lot of people are saying, oh, ESPN's in trouble. ESPN is not in as much trouble as everybody thinks, just due to the fact that ESPN still makes a ton of money for Disney Corp. Disney Corp itself has issues. Disney Corp is still trying to figure out how to finance the bonds that they did to buy Fox Studios. I mean, they really stepped in it whenever they did that in 2019. Then with movie theaters shut down for all of 2020 with all these tentpole projects that they had, they were like, okay, we're screwed. Disney Plus does numbers. Hulu, that they own outright from their Fox acquisition, does numbers. ESPN makes a very good, solid profit for the company. Their studio division's losing money left, right, and sideways. They're what they call Disney Parks prints money. So ESPN or Disney Corp, they're going to want to keep Monday Night Football, and but that contract runs to, I think I read somewhere 2032. So they're going to be able to keep that for a while. Amazon vastly overpaid for that Thursday night game, and that is just because they could. Amazon doesn't have to make a single penny off of Prime Video. They don't. Same thing with Apple TV. They don't have to make a profit off of it. They're there for the subs. They're there to get you to make sure people have Prime memberships. They're there to make sure, like with Apple, that you're buying Apple products and are in the Apple ecosystem. Heck, what I'm talking to you right now is on a MacBook Air with an iPhone, and I have an iPad, and almost everything in this house, with the exception of those Amazon Echo things, it's all either Apple or Amazon. And Amazon, like I said, Apple bought F1 for stupid money, the broadcast rights for F1, and that Apple for the longest time was always a historically cheap company. They did not want to spend money outside of R&D. And the problem is, and the thing is, Tim Cook is spending money. I do not believe Apple TV would exist if Steve Jobs still ran the company and Tim Cook didn't. Because I don't know the exact number right now, but whenever they started Apple TV, they had to spend like $5 billion to get it off the ground. At the time, cash on hand at that little fruit company in Cupertino, they had somewhere around $200 billion cash on hand. Let me see what they have cash on hand right now there at Cupertino.
And then let me also make this a mention too here. And I know that this is like, yeah, this is how it's going.
Okay. Right now, wow, that's still the GDP of a lot of companies. Cash on hand is $144.8 billion for Apple. Let's see what Amazon has, because Amazon's got a mountain of cash on hand. Cash on hand for Amazon was 123 billion. And so whenever a lot of people are talking about, oh, Netflix is going to get involved with streaming deals.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has a problem. Netflix problem is that they rely on subs. They don't have something to fall back on. Like if Apple TV has issues and they have a bad quarter, they could sit there and say, oh, so how many iPads did we sell this quarter? How many MacBooks? How many iPhones? And they're like, oh yeah, we sold what, 1 billion iPhones? Yeah, we can float that. If Netflix has a bad quarter, there's no backstop to it. Amazon the same way. If Amazon has a bad quarter, or if Prime Video has a bad quarter, they have a backstop. They can sit there and say, oh, well, how many TVs do we sell through Amazon? How many of this? How many of that? How many of all this other stuff? Oh, yeah, we still have cash on hand. Netflix doesn't have that backstop. A lot of these other media companies don't, because they just have to deal with the realities of the market. Apple and Amazon don't. They're sitting on a pile of cash.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I first heard Netflix was interested in buying into college athletics, I kind of got a little chuckle, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to buy Maction then, right? They don't have a way to cut a $1 billion check without a backstop. You're looking at a different reality media-wise than what you did 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or even the last round of big realignment.
It's not even just the media, Dan.
Yeah,
2011,
2012, 2013. That last big round of media realignment. Whenever Nebraska, what was it? Nebraska, Rutgers, Maryland joined the
Big Ten.
Big Ten. You had SEC stayed pat then. No, SEC added A&M and Mizzou. You don't want to know how close WVU got to that Mizzou spot.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what it came down to?
Tell me what's up.
It came down to two things. Number one, they were going to start launching the SEC network, and they were counting cable subs in Missouri, where you can charge premium rate. And then you were looking at cable subs that you had in Pittsburgh and the state of West Virginia, and where you have two big markets, well, big-ish markets between Kansas City and St. Louis, that kind of tipped the scale. The other one was that Mountaineer Field at the time sat 60,540. Memorial Stadium in Columbia, Missouri set 72,000 change. I know that they ripped a ton of seats out. So it would have been the second smallest stadium in the SEC at the time. The smallest is Vandy. So that was another thing that they were asking about. It's like, hey, how easy can you guys put 10,000 seats into Mountaineer Field? And the guy that we had as athletic director at the time, Oliver Luck. You might have heard of him.
Oh yeah.
He ran the XFL. He ran a whole bunch of other stuff once he left WVU. I don't know what he's running right now. I know he does a lot of alumni functions. I know you know his son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I could never forget.
So
their
that
family.
that kind of put WVU to the side. Pitt, Syracuse left the Big East. WVU needed somebody to pick the phone up, and the only person picking the phone up was the Big 12. ACC said hold off, and WVU was like, we got to go somewhere for 2012. And that's how they ended up in the Big 12, because they didn't get a yes, we're in answer from the ACC. So the ACC could have had WVU, Louisville, Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. All of them, the old Eastern Independent football programs that hate each other and beat each other up all the time. And if they could have waited a little bit, they eventually did pick up Louisville.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what, Dan? It's also the money that they're investing.
Yeah.
Millions, billions, and trillions of dollars that they're investing.
How much money has the University of Virginia invested in their football?
I'd say at least not even in the millions or billions of dollars.
Not billions, no. That Scott Stadium there in Charlottesville, I think it's like 48,000. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
But money is also a thing that impacts either program or, you know, what conference and what also how good you are.
Yeah.
In the aspect of it. But speaking of which, Dan, I do want to mention this. This upcoming week will be the return of the Saturday show at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where you'll hear me call out Jackson Johnson. This is day number 430 of trying to get his carcass on here, because I don't know if he's scared or he's a coward, because
he's not scared. You talk about somebody that's probably more busy than any human going. Good Lord. I think he does like 3 shows a day. He does a show with Mark Rogers like twice a week, and he works.
Yeah, but it's like on the weekends, you know, I'm open. I'm here on YouTube. It's like there's a lot that he says in regards that I hear, because obviously, Dan, you know, I'm on Twitter, and if I mentioned this before, follow me on Twitter at Kane the Diesel Freak. I've caught him on some of the things on Twitter that I don't want to mention also, but it's just stuff that I'm like, come on, dude, you do not need to be posting.
Okay. Here we go. I'm going to list you. Hold on. I'm going to list you the schools that have a better 5-year average attendance than the Duke Blue Devils.
Go ahead.
The U.S. Air Force Academy, SMU, Troy, UTEP, UNLV, San Diego State, UTSA, Southern Miss, James Madison. The 5-year average attendance for Duke University for football is 23,407.
Ooh. That's embarrassing.
Let me go up some more. Colorado State has a better 5-year attendance. South Florida has a better 5-year attendance. ECU averages 12,000 more people a game than Duke University. Fresno State averages 12,000 more people a game than Duke University. Let me see. Let me see if I see any other.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I told you, and I brought it up before, that Duke doesn't draw flies. Let me see what's Berkeley's 5-year average. 39,254. I was at a game with my daughter. My daughter teaches preschool here in California. San Jose State, Stanford. The game was on the farm. And they had, it was educator day day. So the tickets to that football game were $2 a piece. I bought one. My daughter bought one. That's $4 and $3.75 to use the Stanford ticket app. I spent more money parking at Palo Alto High School on the other side of the El Camino Real and walking across the street and that was $25 than what I did to buy 2 tickets with the convenience fee, 2 hot dogs, a thing of chicken fingers, and 2 Cokes.
Dang.
That tells you, and announced attendance for that game, 26,000. That's Stanford football. You cannot beat Stanford research. You cannot beat the intellectual property that they hold patents on. By God, their football is, let me look real quick what their 5-year average is. 5-year average for Stanford football. Last year in 2025, they averaged 171. The 5-year average there on the farm is 32,384.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, holy cow.
So whenever you talk, like I said, you could talk academics, but then what's going to get people to turn the TV on? What is going to get Fox, CBS, NBC saying, yeah, we want to cut that check to the Big Ten? Whenever we did our picks for the big best of the, like, a Western school to go into the Big Ten, my first pick was Arizona State. They are AAU. They are just right outside of Phoenix. The Phoenix market is number 11. That is a very, very fast growing market there in Phoenix. They kind of care about football enough to where, let me see what Arizona State's attendance was last 5-year attendance. I know it's not bad because they were talking Arizona's 42,540. Arizona State is 47,356. So we're talking, and like I said, big market. Just due to the fact that it's in Phoenix. Well, just outside of Phoenix. So, and I brought this up. It's like, say that you need to run your women's volleyball team in and out of, let's say, Tucson, Arizona. Well, that might be difficult because they would end up flying into Phoenix Sky Harbor and taking a shuttle bus down. It's hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on traffic going through Phoenix.
Right.
So you get the idea. It's the same thing like they're at Minneapolis, St. Paul, or heck, even University of Michigan, how close are they to Detroit Wayne County Airport? Like what, 20 miles, give or take,
Yeah,
kind of, sort of. I know Ypsilanti, their Eastern Michigan, is like 5 miles away or something like that. So let's say you need to fly a volleyball team in, or let's say that, and that's a big hub for Delta. It used to be Northwest. So they're Detroit. Phoenix is a big hub for American Airlines after 50 different mergers over the years. So if you need to fly in, let's say you need to fly a lacrosse team in, well, hey, right there, big airport, you can fly them commercial on American. That's what you have to look at now for all these teams if you're going to go a big national conference.
Mm-hmm. And that's a factor.
Yeah.
Dan.
out here, the benefit with Stanford and Berkeley is SFO.
Mm-hmm. It's true. But also here's the other thing here, Dan. I also need to make mention of this. Now, I know everybody on the, subject to, I know I'm a little crazy on Twitter, but that's only because, well, yeah, that's just how I am. So I just want to say, if you see anything I post on Twitter that's offensive, please let me know. Or if it's just absolutely ridiculous, please let me know. Because, yeah, I do say some stupid comments and some, brain buster type stuff, but that's only because, well, that's just me.
But then again, this is the time of year that everybody comes together and pulls in their collective hatred of Duke basketball.
It's not just Duke basketball for me. Like, Dan, I'll just say particularly, like, everybody's like, dang, Hayden, how did you say, what made you say that on Twitter? Like I said, I'd rather do something. I said this to Jackson on a reply. Hear this out. I think if you want to go to my Twitter, Dan, it's K the Diesel Freak on Twitter.
I follow you on Twitter.
So I said this to Jackson. I said this to a guy, quote this. Very I said this in regards to something that he posted, and I said, and I quote, "Oh, Alabama is overrated as Disney, and I can't stand any of their dumb fans. OMFG." And then it quoted, Yale House was, and this was something Jackson said in regards to Ohio State. I said, the Yale House was a stupid show, and Alabama is overrated as hell. OMFG. Quoted. So, yeah. And then the later part, I said this to Jackson. And I quote to Jeffrey as well. I'd rather do this certain thing than be an Auburn or an Alabama fan. Because their fan bases are just that complete terrible. And
yeah.
They're just, again.
No, I mean, here's the thing. Alabama fans during that Saban run, they were great. They were the team to beat. They won 6 natties and went to 8, 9, 8, something like that.
Yep, 8 natties.
They won 8 natties, or they went to 8 natties.
Or no, 6 national championships.
Yeah, they won 6. They won 6 natties, and I couldn't remember if it was 8 or 9 national championship games that they went to.
Yep.
So that run is probably one of the better runs that you've had in college athletics.
Yeah.
There's probably only one other run that was that good over an extended period of time. And that's John Wooden at UCLA. John Wooden, what was it? I'm trying to remember. He won 4 or 5 championships in a row.
5.
Yeah. So we're talking one of the best out there. I'm not, like I said, well, there's big difference because basketball is just basketball and we're talking different era, but those are the only 2 coaches I think that would be similar to the way that the impact that they had on their program.
Right.
And Alabama under DeBoer, they're still going to be good,
but not.
They're going to be
elite.
They're going to be sometimes great. Are they going to be elite again? I don't know. Nothing in DeBoer's history shows that he is an elite level coach.
It's true.
A lot of coaches got pay raises whenever that Alabama job opened up. Sark did.
Smart.
Huh?
Smart did.
Smart did. Heupel did.
The guy in Florida State.
Yeah, and I just forgot his name. There's probably about a half dozen coaches that got pay raises the second that job opened up, just where they would go into the
like Norvell.
Yeah, Norvell. Just due to the fact that they could walk into their athletic department's athletic director's office, and they didn't even have to say the name Alabama. The athletic director was sweating, and they said, "Here you go. We'll lock you up for the next 7 years." And it's absolutely killing the guys in Tallahassee because Florida State went 13-0, should have went to the playoffs, didn't, got housed by Georgia, and has done absolutely nothing the past 2 years.
Nope.
And I want to say that buyout at the end of this year, I want to say it's $48 million. I'm going to have to double check on that. But we're talking not that good. So, so you think Duke will go into the Big Ten?
Yep. But it'll only be academic wise. But
now Duke will not join the Big Ten Academic Alliance to give up the money that they're making off the Ivy League. They make billions of dollars from that Ivy League Library Plus system. Billions. And there's only one public university that is a part of it, and it's only one part of the grad school. And that's at Berkeley. Everybody else is a private institution, be it Caltech, MIT, Duke, Hopkins. I'm trying to remember who else. Then you've got the 8 Ivy League schools, and then you've got 6 other ones, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. I know Duke, Stanford, John Hopkins, Berkeley with their grad school. Oh, trying to remember who else. Caltech, MIT. So we're talking some big time academic institutions here for that. So for Duke to give that up to join the Big Ten, I don't know. I really
No, I get what you.
I would be shocked if they give that up. If they give up their chance to stay in the Ivy League library system to go into the Big Ten Academic Alliance.
Right. And if they do join the Big Ten, like I said about earlier the last couple of weeks, I confirmed that Florida State, Clemson, UNC,
Case Western Medical School. I'm looking at the list right now.
Like I said in the last couple of weeks, I confirmed that in late 2027 to late 2028, Clemson, NC State, UNC, Florida State, and Virginia Tech will be joining the SEC.
Let's back up there on NC State. How far apart is NC State to the main campus there at UNC?
I think it's like 20 miles.
25 and change. So do you need two schools in the 38th largest media market in America? Well, you want to get into North Carolina, but do you need both?
I mean,
and the SEC might not have a choice to take both. Now, if they take both, now you're looking at 21, and scheduling with an odd number is going to be difficult because now you're saying NC State, UNC,
Clemson,
Florida State, FSU, and
Virginia
VPI.
Tech. Virginia Tech.
That's 21. You need even numbers for football to schedule correctly.
I think Virginia Tech wise, it'll be probably basketball or football.
No. Their VPI basketball is garbage. Their football is not. Their football since Beamer retired has not been great. It's been about a 500 program.
So either I'm confirming something wrong that possibly maybe Virginia Tech and Virginia might join the Big Ten.
Nope. VPI is not an AAU school.
I was talking Virginia Tech.
Yeah, joining the Big Ten. And Virginia Tech, VPI, the official name of the school is the Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, Blacksburg. I've had a number of people that made sure that I knew that. So VPI is not a AAU school.
Okay, so the SEC rumor so the SEC is
okay. Let me tell you who I've heard, and this is through about as good of a source that I can think of. If the SEC goes to 20, Florida State, Clemson automatically 1-2.
UNC and NC State.
Not NC State because they don't need two. But the problem is if they're stuck with two, it's going to be 0 because they don't need both. Because now you're looking at a 100-year, $70 million a year decision. Is the Wolfpack worth $70 million a year in the media landscape? I'll tell you right now, no. I don't even think UNC is worth that, but UNC is the flagship institution for the state, and they need to get into that state tomorrow.
But it's also a basketball school too.
It is a big basketball school that does okay every once in a while in football. Their football is good-ish at times. Everybody was expecting a big boost in TV numbers, a la Coach Prime at Colorado whenever they brought in Bill Belichick, and their numbers were outside of the TCU UNC game, which was on Labor Day Monday. They did okay ratings wise. We're not talking horrible. We're not talking bad, but good, solid mid-pack. NC State's football numbers are about the same as what you get with UNC for football numbers. So
Right.
you're not going to hold on. Sorry. So you're not going to get equal numbers on that. You don't need both.
Right. But
Virginia, so this is what I was told. I was told Virginia Tech. I was told Clemson. I was told Florida State, and I was told either Miami or Kansas.
Miami or Kansas would join the SEC.
Kansas
or the Big Ten.
Kansas is an AAU school, and they spent $350 million to rebuild their football stadium. So they're making the appearance that they're being serious about football. Somebody was telling me WVU at one time, and to be honest with you, with WVU, let's say the SEC goes to 24. Let's say it's a 24 league Big Ten, a 24 league SEC. That would take 14 schools off the table out of the ACC and Big 12. I think WVU is in because WVU gets good numbers. They have a good fan base. The problem is that the number of cable subs that they provide are kind of okay, but not great. Just due to the fact that you've only got 1.8 million people in the state of West Virginia. But the thing is, there's a lot of cable subs in that state.
Mm-hmm.
And also you bleed off because Morgantown, West Virginia is in the Pittsburgh media market. That helps WVU.
But let me ask you this, Daniel. If this news comes up, because I've been talking to a fellow Big Ten fan.
Yeah.
The possibility of Pitt joining the Big Ten.
0.
Okay. And why is that?
They're the number 3 team in their own city, and Big Ten is already making premium. Big Ten right now is already charging premium rate subscriptions for the Big Ten network in the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County via Pennsylvania State University. Penn State has it set up, and the people at Fox and the people at the Big Ten network, they get premium rate subscriptions for the Big Ten network throughout the whole entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They do not need the city of Pittsburgh.
I mean, what is the pot? Like, if it does happen,
I would put it at maybe 5%, but it's not. Ohio State probably has about as many fans in the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County as what the Pitt Panthers do.
So it'd be at least equal. Not by much.
Like I said, the number 1 team, college team in the city of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, is Penn State. Number 2 is WVU. Number 3 would probably be Pitt, but there's a lot of Ohio State fans that you have in that area.
True.
So you've already got premium rates. So why do the ad? Is the University of Pittsburgh athletics worth $70 million to a broadcaster? I'll tell you right now, it's no.
And then somebody else mentioned this to me as well, Daniel, the same Big Ten fan, mentioned the Pitt moving, but also WVU.
Okay.
Because WVU to the Big Ten would be a nice asset.
I've heard on a couple of occasions that WVU has called the nice office that they have there in Rosemont, Illinois. WVU's biggest issue, they are not AAU. I don't see them getting AAU anytime soon. They do a lot of research. They are R1. They do have a nice medical school. But the chances of WVU getting into the Big Ten, I would probably put I would put it above Pitt, but low.
But UVA confirming, but I mean the news of me confirming that UVA joining the Big Ten late in 2028 is a no-brainer to me.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
I like the same thing.
Okay.
No. Here's the other thing too, Daniel. The same person, and I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is. On Twitter, messaged me and said, "Hey, news of Duke coming to the Big Ten 2029." Because it's like if Duke does and UVA does, I mean we're growing exponentially.
So you're gonna turn down. You're going to turn down an Arizona State, an Arizona, a Utah, and I'm not going to defend Utah all that much because I think that they're overblown, but
yeah, they are.
They are, but the thing is, if you're going to start looking at, but they're AAU and they got some really passionate fans.
Yeah, but it's like the Big Ten, if they want to schedule some people closer to the conference, I get that.
Well, if you're going to schedule people closer to the conference, then you want to get Kansas and see what you can do with Notre Dame. Notre Dame
will never join the Big Ten.
Notre Dame will not join as long as three things are there. Number one, they get a fairly good check from NBC Universal for their home games. Number two, they get priority access and money from the CFP. And number three, they have some place that they park all their non-football sports that pay them fairly well. I think it's the ACC pays Notre Dame somewhere around $18 million a year for all their sports, not counting football. Tack on the money that they get from the CFP, the money that they get from NBC and stuff like that. They're making really good money. They're making I bet you that they're probably pulling down 80 just in TV and conference revenues. And CFP money. So if any of that changes, let's say, and it's not going to happen, but let's say the CFP comes out and says, well, we're not going to take anybody into the CFP unless they're in a conference. Things would change.
Notre Dame would join the Big Ten easily.
Yeah, Notre Dame would join the Big Ten tomorrow. Just due to the fact that they're the only people that could cut that check now. And Notre Dame's an AAU school. So let's say two for the Big Ten today. I mean, you're already flying to Oregon, Washington, and Los Angeles. I would
add Notre Dame and Virginia to the schedule.
No, I wouldn't add UVA. I would add Georgia Tech, even though Georgia Tech is maybe third in the city of Atlanta, it gets you into Atlanta. And getting into Atlanta is huge. That's medium market size number 9. And that's a growing market. And AU school, that airport in Atlanta is absolutely massive. So anytime that you need to fly stuff in and out of Atlanta for a game at Georgia Tech, you have no problem.
Right.
So you've got Georgia Tech, and I would probably say Utah or Arizona I'm sorry, not Arizona, Arizona State. And the reason why I'm going to say one of those two is that would put a 5th team in the West that also
has history with Ohio State.
Well, not great history with Ohio State. They got beat twice in Rose Bowls.
But I mean, still.
Yeah. But you're looking at Salt Lake market is market size 27. Phoenix is almost 10th or 11th. So
yeah.
So we're discussing that we've got some pretty big markets here. Now, but I don't make those decisions.
Yeah. And then Utah, obviously that would be something for people to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, Utah, Ohio State has history.
Yeah. But
not really history.
But it all depends on what the SEC does. Let's say the SEC says, "Oh, we're going to just take Clemson, Florida State, stay at 18, we're done." Let's say that they don't want to deal with the headache of all the politics that you have in North Carolina between North Carolina and North Carolina State and all the other stuff there. The people that now run the Commonwealth of Virginia, the whole entire board swapped over. And that board is Big Ten or bust. It's like, well, you can't be that way. And oh yeah, by the way, if you want to play that, you're going to cause issues with Virginia Tech. So they just might take Florida State, Clemson, and say we're done.
Instead of having to deal with UNC and NC State.
Instead of dealing with the politics that you have to have with UVA, UNC, with Virginia Tech and NC State, they might say we're done. We're calling it done for right now. And they can do that. Big Ten doesn't have to expand. The only reason why Big Ten is talking about expansion is they're waiting for what not Florida State. They're waiting for what the SEC does. They don't have to do anything.
No, they don't.
They've already. I mean, their contract runs through 2029. So any addition that they have would be. Any additions would have to, because you're going to start negotiating that contract starting next year, give or take the start of the discussions. You want everything done and in writing by at least late 28. So you're going to have to at least do your announcement saying, hey, this is who's joining the conference by blank.
By the blank certain year.
By July 1st, 2029 for the Big Ten.
Yeah, but Kansas joining the Big Ten, I
didn't say Kansas necessarily. Kansas would be if they went to 24. If they went to 24, Kansas is in. If they went to 24, Utah is in. Just due to the fact that you could probably end up talking the SEC, get the SEC to take, because the SEC wants to get into North Carolina, taking an
No.
NC State and
UNC.
UNC going into the Big Ten if they go 24.
Right.
Virginia Tech would go into the SEC, and
Virginia.
UVA would go into the Big Ten. Like I said, it all depends on how things work, and we don't know.
No.
We're guessing. We're still guessing.
Yeah.
And the
Like-
problem is that
Like, here's the thing, Dan. Like,
Mhm.
as far as like I've known from Big Ten and SEC media that I've talked to, like that they can confirm to me, and this is on their part, not mine.
uh-huh.
UNC, NC State, Virginia Tech, Florida State, and Clemson. Possibly Virginia Tech. They said possibly for Virginia Tech, but NC State, UNC, Clemson, and Florida State will join the SEC. The Big Ten will get Virginia or Virginia Tech. That's the one said. But the other one said UNC, NC State, Virginia Tech is going to the SEC along with Florida State and Clemson.
Okay.
And then
I
UVA
had to double check.
and then UVA will go to the Big Ten.
The University of Kansas and K-State are ran by the same board of regents. And they oversee like basically all the schools there, Emporia State, Pittsburgh State, Wichita State. So they run everything under one board. So, hold on.
Yeah, if you're wondering why the camera on my computer does not work, and it leaves like this blank screen, so nobody can see my face unless I go to my like the phone camera. So yeah,
I'm wanting to see where the governor of Kansas went to school at. She went to Indiana. She went to Bradley in Indiana, so we're not talking Kansas or Kansas State, because that would, let's say that the governor, you know how Baylor got, the governor could make a stink over. You know how Baylor got into the Big 12?
how was it?
Okay, originally that other spot for the Big 12 was supposed to be Houston. Whenever the Big 12 first formed, and the 4 teams out of the old Southwest Conference, that would be Texas Tech, Texas,
Oklahoma.
No, Oklahoma was Big 8.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, correct. And the other one was going to be Houston. Ann Richards, who was the governor at the time of the state of Texas, put enough pressure on everybody involved with at A&M and the University of Texas, saying, you're taking Baylor or I will start pulling money. And guess what? Baylor got in over Houston. So I am going to run. I have got, it's almost.
And they could put Baylor and Houston in the same conference? That's ridiculous.
Well, they are now.
Yeah, true. However.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to have to go. I've got like 100 things I got to do. And it's almost 3:00 here on the West Coast. Remember, watch me on the College Football Mafia right here on YouTube. Follow me at The Other Gigax. That is spelled THEGY. Right there it is on Twitter.
You put it in the comments section.
Yes, I did. Actually, I was going to try to do it. It's right there too.
But yeah, follow Gygax and all them at the College Football Mafia. Follow Daniel Gygax on Twitter at The Other Gygax. That is spelled.
And to let you know, Moen and Rock will be on live in about an hour. They are. Hold on, I saw the notes.
That's the Moen After Dark show.
Yeah, that's the Moen After Dark show. And hold on, I saw the note. I saw his notes earlier. Greg is live right now, by the way.
Greg
Flugar.
I'm trying to think of who that is.
From Minnesota?
Oh, the Minnesota Jack.
I love Greg. I love Greg.
The Minnesota Gophers?
Yeah. I love Greg.
That's all they do.
I don't.
Chuckwood. It's Chuckwood and Wood.
You want to know something? We know that Minnesota football is not great. Greg knows that Minnesota football's not
Their
great.
hockey sucks.
Their hockey has had issues. Their hockey has had issues for a couple of years. But you want to know something? Greg is the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Greg Greg.
Is it Gophers Live?
No, it's Peek Around the Corner with Greg Flugar.
What's he doing? A call-in show or what?
Yeah, he. The only reason why Nate and Moen and myself and all of us is because we all met together on Greg's show, off of Greg's show, calling in.
Really?
Greg is a great guy. I mean, he is a great guy. And none of us would be in this business of talking out of our ass if it wasn't for Greg. Yes, you have to go for propaganda, but guess what? We can live with go for propaganda.
It seems like go for propaganda. I can't live with go for propaganda because
we joke about it all the time. It's like I'm here for my daily go for propaganda.
Yeah. Hey, would you not letting Greg Gander know I might stop by today or just to pop in, just say, hey, I got a friend coming down or gonna be joining soon.
Greg is kind of busy, and the reason why Greg is busy is that his 90-some-year-old mom lives here with him.
Ooh.
So
well, I mean, just to say, like, hey, I got a friend that's popping by the YouTube channel. He's a friend of ours on YouTube,
Hold on.
Just, to say, like, hey, I might pop by his channel and watch some of his stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, hold on. Let me get the name of his channel right because I screw it up all the time.
Yeah, like Daniel said, follow him at the other guy. Guys, that's spelled TheOtherGygax. That's the other guy Gax. And Daniel's a great guy.
Like I said, without Greg, none of us would be doing this. And Greg is just such a great guy.
He is around the corner college football.
Yeah,
I'll be sure to check.
There's two guys for our college football mafia channel that we could never think enough, and that's Mark Rogers and Greg Flugar. Mark Rogers because he's got a pretty big network and helped us out, and Greg Flugar, who does his show independently, who, like I said, great guy. So, all right, I gotta go.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it as always. That's Daniel Gygax of the College Football Mafia. Thank you so much, Daniel. As always, you are always appreciated, sir, to come back in and pop in and hang out with the decent ring. I'll have to give Greg a heads up. Telling them y'all sent me to his YouTube channel. But that is going to be it from me. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And if you would do me a favor, please subscribe to my channel as well as the College Football Mafia. Because I'm posting a lot of good stuff, but at the same time, I'm doing a lot of stuff. So I will see you guys next Saturday. And as always, go Bucks. And that team up north sucks. Sucks.